Welcome to Microscopic Marvels. Have you ever really stopped to think about the incredible dance of electricity and muscle that happens inside your chest with every single heartbeat? Well, today, we're going to demystify the cardiac cycle. We're going to break down all the high-yield concepts you absolutely need to nail for your MBBS exams, and we'll do it in a way that's simple and sticks.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to follow a single heartbeat from beginning to end. First, we'll trace the basic path of the blood. Then, we'll look at the electrical spark that kicks the whole thing off. After that, we'll see how that spark creates the powerful mechanical pump, explore the heart's amazing built-in safety feature, and finally, we'll wrap up with the genius idea known as Frank Starling's law.
First things first, let's cover the absolute basics, the path of blood. To really understand the cycle, you have to know where the blood is going. The best way to think about the heart isn't as one pump, but as two separate pumps working together, one after the other. Okay, let's start with the pump on the right side. All the deoxygenated blood from your body comes back home through the vena cava and dumps into the right atrium. From there, it passes through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. Then, with a big squeeze, the ventricle shoots this blood out through the pulmonary valve, sending it off to the lungs to pick up some fresh oxygen.
Now for the left side pump. That newly oxygenated blood comes back from the lungs and enters the left atrium. It flows through the mitral valve and into the real powerhouse of the heart, the left ventricle. I mean, this chamber is seriously muscular, and with one massive contraction, it forces that blood through the aortic valve and out to supply your entire body. See? Two pumps working in perfect sequence.
So what keeps all this blood from flowing backward? The valves. You can think of them as perfect one-way doors. The AV valves, that's the tricuspid and mitral, have these strong little tethers that hold them in place. The chordae tendineae, they stop the valves from flipping inside out when the ventricles contract. Meanwhile, the semilunar valves just slam shut to make sure blood doesn't leak back into the ventricles after they've pumped. Okay, we've got the plumbing down. Now let's look at the spark that makes it all go, the electrical system. You know, every single contraction is triggered by an electrical signal. Heart cells are all connected by these special little tunnels, which lets them act together like one single, giant, coordinated cell. We call that a functional syncytium, and it's what makes the heartbeat so efficient. So the whole signal starts at the SA node, which is basically the heart's natural pacemaker. From there, it flashes across the atria in about 1/10 of a second, telling them to contract. Then it hits the AV node, where there's a really important pause. After that brief delay, the signal just rockets down the bundle of His and through the Purkinje fibers at a crazy 2 to 4 meters per second to activate the ventricles. Now that pause at the AV node, that is an incredibly important high-yield concept. It's not a glitch, it's a feature. This purposeful delay gives the atria just enough time to finish squeezing and top off the ventricles with blood before the ventricles start their own massive contraction. Without this delay, the pump just wouldn't be as effective. The AV delay is all about maximizing how much blood gets into the ventricles. We've got the spark, so now it's time for the main event, the pump itself. This part is all about how that electrical signal we just talked about gets translated into the physical force that actually moves blood around your body. The entire cardiac cycle really just boils down to two key phases. You've got systole, which is the contraction phase when the heart is squeezing and ejecting blood. And you've got diastole, which is the relaxation phase when the heart is chilling out and filling with blood for the next beat. Just think, systole is squeeze, diastole is relax and fill. So how does an electrical zap actually become a physical squeeze? It's a process called excitation-contraction coupling, and the hero of this story is calcium. So here's what happens. The electrical signal arrives and opens up some calcium channels. A little bit of what we call trigger calcium sneaks into the cell. This tiny trigger then unlocks a massive flood of calcium from storage inside the cell. Finally, all that calcium binds to a protein called troponin C, and that's the final switch that starts the muscle contraction. And just like that, systole begins. All right, next up, we have to talk about one of the heart's most vital safety features. This is the brilliant built-in mechanism that ensures the heart always works like a pump and never just seizes up in one long, useless cramp. So let me ask you a classic physiology question. You can get a cramp in your calf muscle, right? So why can't your heart get a cramp? Why can't it become tetanized? The answer is absolutely key to understanding how the heart works. The entire answer comes down to one single crucial number, 200 milliseconds. That is how long the heart's absolute refractory period is. Now, compared to other muscles, that is an incredibly long time, and it's a number you absolutely must remember for your exams. So what's the big deal about this long refractory period?
It's everything. It means the heart muscle physically cannot be stimulated to contract again until it's already had a chance to relax. It guarantees that there is always a relaxation phase, a diastole. This ensures the heart has time to fill with blood before it tries to pump again. It's the whole reason the heart is a pump and not just a quivering muscle.
And finally, let's look at how the heart so intelligently regulates its own workload from one beat to the next. This is where we get to talk about the elegant principle known as Frank-Starling's law.
So, what is Frank-Starling's law? Think of a rubber band. The more you stretch it, the harder it snaps back, right? The heart works exactly the same way. The force of its contraction is directly proportional to how much its muscle fibers are stretched at the beginning. That initial stretch is called the preload and is determined by how much blood is in the ventricle. Simply put, more stretch equals a stronger squeeze.
And here's how this works in real life. Let's say you start jogging. Your muscles pump more blood back to your heart. That's increased venous return. This extra blood stretches the walls of the ventricles, which increases the preload. And what's the heart's automatic response? A more powerful contraction on the very next beat to pump all that extra blood out. It's a beautiful system that guarantees whatever comes in gets pumped out.
All right, let's lock in these key takeaways for revision. Number 1, the AV nodal delay is essential to give the ventricles time to fill. Number 2, electricity always comes before the mechanical contraction. Spark, then pump. Number 3, that long 200 millisecond refractory period is what prevents the heart from cramping up. And number 4, Frank-Starling's law is the smart system that matches the heart's output to its input.
If you like this video, then please like, comment, and subscribe.